Congregation Bible Study, week of July 2026. Good evening, dear brothers and sisters. Today we have the joy of beginning a new publication provided through the faithful and discreet slave. This book has been prepared to help us strengthen a quality that all of us need very much in these difficult times. Courage. The letter from the governing body and the introduction remind us that Christian courage does not mean that we never feel fear. Courage means that even when we do feel fear, we rely on Jehovah and do what is right in His eyes. Jesus Christ gave us the perfect example of that kind of courage. And throughout the Bible, we find many men and women who were imperfect, who had feelings just like ours, but who became courageous because they trusted in Jehovah. So as we begin this study, we can ask ourselves, where do I need more courage in my life? Do I need courage to make an adjustment, to defend Bible principles, to speak about the truth, or to endure a difficult test? As we study this new book, may each example help us grow stronger and more determined to stand on Jehovah's side. Let us begin. Question 1. According to the governing body's letter, why is this new book especially timely for us today? Answer. This new book is especially timely because we are living in the Lord's day, and the Bible describes our times as critical times hard to deal with. We see that pressure is increasing in many ways. Some brothers and sisters face opposition from family members. Others endure persecution, illness, economic difficulties, or pressure to compromise their faith. So courage is not something we need only once in a while. We need it every day. The governing body's letter helps us see that Jehovah's people around the world are already showing courage. They continue to preach, attend meetings, stay loyal, and defend Bible principles even when it is not easy. But we all need encouragement to keep doing that. This book is timely because it will help us learn from real Bible examples. These were not perfect people. They had emotions, fears, weaknesses, and difficult circumstances. But with Jehovah's help, they acted courageously. Their examples can help us face our own tests with stronger faith and greater confidence in Jehovah. Question 2. The letter mentions 3 specific ways that Bible examples can embolden us. What are they, and why are they important? Answer. The letter mentions 3 important ways that Bible examples can help us become more courageous. First, they can help us make adjustments. Jonathan is a good example of this. Humanly speaking, he could have expected to become king after Saul, but when it became clear that Jehovah had chosen David, Jonathan did not become jealous or bitter. He adjusted his thinking and supported Jehovah's decision. That takes real courage, because sometimes accepting a change is not easy, especially when it affects our expectations or personal desires. Second, Bible examples help us stand up for righteous principles. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah showed this kind of courage when they refused to bow down to the image. They were surrounded by people who were doing the opposite, and their lives were threatened. Still, they chose loyalty to Jehovah. Their example reminds us that courage may be needed when we feel pressure to lower our standards or follow the crowd. Third, Bible examples can help us speak up about the truth. Saul of Tarsus, who became the Apostle Paul, had to speak about Jesus to people who knew his past and to others who opposed the Christian message. That required humility and boldness. So these 3 areas are very practical: courage to adjust, courage to obey, and courage to speak. All 3 are needed if we want to remain faithful in these last days. Question 3. In the introduction, Jesus' words, "Get up, let us go," are called possibly the bravest words any human has ever spoken. Why? Answer: those words are so powerful because of the moment in which Jesus said them. He was in the Garden of Gethsemane. He knew that an armed crowd was coming to arrest him. He also knew what would follow: false accusations, humiliation, physical suffering, and a painful death. He even knew that his disciples would abandon him for a time. Yet Jesus did not run away. He did not try to hide. He did not use his power to avoid the test. Instead, he stood up and moved forward to do Jehovah's will. When he said, "Get up, let us go," he was showing complete courage, complete obedience, and complete love. This was not reckless courage. Jesus was not trying to prove something about himself. His courage came from love for Jehovah and love for mankind. He willingly faced everything necessary to provide the ransom and sanctify his Father's name. That is why those words are among the bravest ever spoken. They show us that true courage means doing Jehovah's will even when the path ahead is painful. Question 4. How does the Bible define true Christian courage? What is it not? Answer: true Christian courage is the inner strength that helps us do what is right in Jehovah's eyes, even when we feel afraid or when the situation is difficult. It is not the absence of fear. Many faithful servants of Jehovah have felt fear. But courage helps us keep going because our trust in Jehovah is stronger than our fear. Christian courage is not recklessness. It is not exposing ourselves to danger unnecessarily, acting aggressively, or trying to appear strong in front of others. That kind of boldness can come from pride or impulsiveness. But Christian courage comes from faith, love, humility, and obedience. This definition is very encouraging because it means that courage is not only for people who naturally seem confident. A shy brother, a young sister, an elderly publisher, or someone who struggles with anxiety can still be courageous. Why? Because courage does not come from personality alone. It comes from trusting in Jehovah and deciding to do what pleases Him. Question 5. How did Jesus show that He is a reasonable King who understands our weaknesses? Why does this help us to be courageous? Answer: Jesus showed His reasonableness in the way He treated His disciples in Gethsemane. He had asked them to stay awake with Him, but they fell asleep. Jesus could have spoken harshly to them, especially because He was under extreme emotional pressure. But instead, He said, "The spirit, of course, is eager, but the flesh is weak." Those words show that Jesus understood their limitations. He did not excuse weakness as if it did not matter, but He also did not crush them for being imperfect. He saw that they wanted to do what was right, even though their flesh was weak. This helps us to be courageous, because we know that Jesus is not unreasonable with us. He knows when we are tired, afraid, discouraged, or emotionally worn down. He does not expect perfection from us. At the same time, He helps us keep going. When He said, "Take courage, I have conquered the world," He was giving His disciples reason to be strong. So we can draw close to Jesus with confidence. His understanding does not make us careless, it makes us want to keep trying. Knowing that He sees our efforts and believes we can succeed with Jehovah's help gives us courage to continue. Question 6. What examples from the governing body letter and the introduction show that imperfect humans can be courageous? Answer: the letter and the introduction remind us that many Bible characters were ordinary humans with feelings like ours. They were not fearless by nature, and they were not perfect, but they became courageous because they trusted in Jehovah. Jonathan showed courage by accepting Jehovah's choice of David and supporting him loyally. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah showed courage by refusing to worship an image even when their lives were threatened. Saul of Tarsus, later the Apostle Paul, showed courage by completely changing his course in life and boldly preaching about Jesus. The introduction also reminds us of others, such as Elijah. James says that Elijah had feelings like ours. That means he was not a man made of stone. He had emotions, moments of pressure, and times when he needed Jehovah's support. Yet Jehovah helped him act with courage. These examples are very encouraging because they show that Jehovah does not use only naturally strong people. He can strengthen anyone who trusts in him. So when we feel weak, nervous, or unsure of ourselves, we can remember that courage is something Jehovah can help us develop. Question 7. What is the goal of this new publication, and what can we do to benefit fully from it? Answer. The goal of this publication is to help us become more courageous so that we can endure faithfully during these difficult last days. Each chapter will help us examine a Bible character or account that teaches us something about courage. But to benefit fully, we should not study the book in a superficial way. We can read each account carefully, try to understand the background, and imagine what the person may have felt. We can ask ourselves, what pressure did this servant of Jehovah face? What helped him or her act with courage? What does this teach me about Jehovah? How can I apply this in my life? It will also help to pray before we study. We can ask Jehovah to show us where we personally need courage. Maybe we need courage to accept a change, to speak to someone about the truth, to resist pressure, to endure illness, or to keep serving despite discouragement. As we study, we will not just learn about Bible characters. We will come to know Jehovah better. We will see how he supported his servants in the past, and that will strengthen our confidence that he will support us today. The promise at Hebrews 13:5-6 gives us the courage we need. I will never leave you, and I will never abandon you. So we can say with confidence, Jehovah is my helper. I will not be afraid. That is the spirit this new publication can help us develop.